let's start with this. This is from Elizabeth Arden. It's the Flawless Start Instant Perfecting Primer. This is basically, if you've tried Benefit Professional, it's very much the same as that. This one is beige in color, but it kind of works its way into your skin, and it's very kind of silicone-y. It's actually slightly a thinner formula than the Benefit Professional. That would be the only difference. I think the Professional is a little bit thicker. This one has a little bit of a thinner formula, and it just kind of spreads a little bit more easily all over the skin. I really like this. I think if you're the kind of person who does a lot of no makeup days, but you still want your pores filled in, this does a really nice job because it just kind of fills in your pores, but it leaves a very like powder matte finish behind. So it's actually really nice. I really enjoyed that a lot. Another thing I really like too, which I'm wearing today, is this from Rimmel. It's the BB cream. So it's just their 9-in-1 long-lasting BB cream. This is in the shade Light. Yeah, the shade, I don't know, like this is light, and we are in September, so this is like the deepest skin I'll get all year. So going into the winter, I don't think this is going to be a match for me. So I don't know what their shade range is like, but this seems very dark for the shade Light. That to one side though, I think this is a really gorgeous skin-like BB cream. So it is a BB cream. It's one of those BB creams that's actually not a full coverage BB cream. A lot of those are tending towards that, whereas when BB creams first came out, it was very light coverage, and I think this is very much like a light to medium coverage, so it's going to even out your skin tone, but you're still going to see skin underneath, and it just gives you kind of that lit from within glow. I've been wearing this now for about an hour, so it's still like set. I set it with powder. It's not getting oily yet, but let me tell you, if you have oily skin, especially in the summertime, it's not really the best thing to use. So even though I do really love the way it looks on my skin, in the summer I can't really get away with using it because it's just gone by the end of the day. It just goes away. My oil just destroys it. But in the winter, I would be very excited to use this, except I'm just not sure what the shade's gonna look like in the winter, but I will try it out in the winter. But if you are like combo to slightly dry, I think you'd probably really like it because it does give you that very glowy look, very skin-like look. I feel like this time around was just filled with a lot of wins, like things that I really ended up liking a lot, and this I really ended up liking a lot. This is the Clinique Super Powder Double Face Makeup. This is in the shade 02 Matte Beige. So this is like a powder foundation. However, I just used it like a setting powder. So it does have coverage in it. I guess you could just use it all over your face if you wanted to. As an oily skin person, I use powders like this. It's very much like the Knicks Stay Matte But Not Flat powder, in that it has a little bit of coverage and it's very oil controlling. So it will slightly change the look of your foundation underneath, giving you a little bit of coverage, a little bit of color, but it's going to keep you matte for a long time. And it's also good using to repowder throughout the day if you find that you're getting oily. But I really like that. I think I would just stick to my Knicks Stay Matte But Not Flat just because of the price difference, but I will end up using this whole thing. I really like it a lot. So I also had in there these two Real Techniques sponges. So these came in a set of 2. I can't remember the exact name, but everything will be linked down below. Okay, so these are, this one obviously I just used, is dirty, and this one is shrank back down. This has a really, really nice texture. Like it's that very much like a beauty blender texture. Very soft, very bouncy. I really like the texture of it a lot. I also really like the point on the one side, and then on this side, not only do you have a flat side, but you also have this other slightly flat side. So there's lots of uses. Like I like to use this for doing my baking under my eye because it gets right up under there with that flat edge. That flat edge is really great because even like the Real Techniques orange sponge, it has a flat edge, but it's still rounded. And this one being flat across just lets you get right up underneath that lash line perfectly. And of course this side gets right up in that inner corner and blends out concealer really well. So if you're into baking, if you're looking for a really good gentle under eye sponge, I think this is a win, like a total win. And I also use this today to kind of carve out my, what's it called? Contour. And because it's got, again, that flat line, it's just absolutely perfect. So the shape is everything, and also the texture is everything with this, but it's a win, total win. What is on my lips today is just this lip liner. This is the Kat Von D Everlasting Lip Liner in the shade OG Lolita. So this is a very 90s kind of terracotta pinky brown. I like this shade. I don't love it on me. It's not my favorite shade ever. However, the formula with these are really great. So using it all over the lips is going to give you just the most long-lasting matte lip look. Obviously, if you eat or drink, different story. Actually, drinking is not bad because look, this is a cream product and I'm touching my lips and there's nothing on my finger. Now, if I were to rub, obviously it's gonna come off, but just like drinking, I think you'd actually be fine with a coffee cup or something like that, and it would just last a really long time. Eating, obviously that's different. But you guys, I wish that her lipstick formula was this formula, because this is like a nice, dried down, matte, comfortable, like transfer resistant, but not transfer proof. I don't know about you, but I don't need transfer proof lipstick all the time. I would rather sacrifice a little of that for comfort, and this is super comfortable all over the lips. So I wish that her lipstick was this exact formula, because yes, it's good as a lip liner, but if you wanted to do this kind of thing and do it all over the lips, you're gonna use this up very, very quickly. And I could see myself doing that because I do kind of like the color, like I could see myself using it, but I really like the way it feels and I love the longevity. So you get nice, matte, long-lasting lips. Okay, one thing that I'm not the biggest fan of, and it's not because of formula, it's really just because of color, is this. This is the Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder. This is in the shade 01 Natural. It says for lighter skin. So this is a matte bronzer. I like the packaging. It's very sleek. It's got that acrylic, very thin. It is big though. Like obviously, look at my face next to it. And I think it would take you a long time to use this up. It's kind of, it smells like coconuts, which I love. I love the scent of this. It smells so nice. It's actually a different scent than the Physicians Formula one. This is just way more coconutty and less suntan lotiony, if that makes sense. Anyway, so it is a light shade and it is not bad. It's just that on me, it pulls a little bit too orange. So it's so close to like the perfect bronzer color, but just not quite there. And I'm not wearing this today because I just didn't want to be orange on camera today. But with a super light hand, it's okay. I can get away with it. But I don't know, it's just a little too orange, and for that reason I don't like it. But it is long lasting, it does blend really well, so I guess it would just depend on your skin tone and you'd have to figure out if it worked for you, but the formula is good. 2 products left. This one I've already talked about in another video, underrated drugstore products, because I think this is a really, really, really great mascara, and you don't really hear it talked about all that much. This is pretty new to the drugstore. Maybelline always had the Big Shot mascara, but this one is called the Colossal Big Shot, and it comes in the gold packaging. I'm not a fan of this, like it's so wide. I feel like it could be a lot thinner. It takes up a lot of space in my mascara jar, but I do love everything else about it. So this is what the brush looks like. It's kind of slightly pointed, it's kind of messy, but I really like the fact that it's pointed because this is absolutely perfect for the lower lash line. Like it really just fits in there really well, and it doesn't flake or smudge on the lower lash line. And if I ever have problems with mascara, it's usually the lower lash line that is the true like truth teller. It's the test, you know, because that's where I will see flakes or smudges or transferring. I don't usually have those issues on top. But even so, on top, this is also really good because it gives you really long lashes. Like this really lengthens a lot, and it gives you a decent amount of volume. I don't feel like I get overly clumpy with this either, which I love. And the very last thing in my Bought It Forgot It was this. This is from Elizabeth Arden as well. This is the Beautiful Color Bold Liquid Lipstick. This is actually like a sample size. The full size packaging is a little bit different. It's longer and it has, I think, a clicker on it. I'm not exactly sure. So, you know, I don't really want to comment too much on the packaging or the wand because I think it might be slightly different in the full size. But the product itself, I like it, but there are a lot of problems with it. So this is in the shade Luscious Raspberry, which is a gorgeous bright pink shade. The problem is this is so creamy and very liquidy, it gets all over the place. So I was thinking about wearing this today, but I just didn't want to deal with the headache of it, and I think that is kind of my problem with it in a nutshell. I don't want to wear it because it's a headache, because it just goes everywhere. Now with a nude, that might not be the worst thing in the world, but with a color like this, if it starts transferring outside of your lip line or gets all over your teeth, or God forbid, like you go to hug somebody and it gets on their shirt or something, not good. So, not good, Bob. Not good. Okay, so I cannot see myself going out and buying any of these. I do like the color. I like the way it feels. It feels very hydrating and luscious, but a lot of the time when you get those very like luscious glosses, I just find if they are super pigmented in color, it's a big problem. They go everywhere. So I tend to avoid those. Okay, so that is it for everything that I was using. I hope that those little mini reviews helped you out. And I'm just gonna show you quickly the stuff that I'm gonna be using for the next little while. So this I recently bought from Ulta. Haven't had a chance to use it yet. I figured I'd put it in this. This is the, what's it called? Tattoo Junkie Velvet Lip Paint and Effects. So it's got a liquid lip color and like a little, it's almost like a pigment that you put on top of it. I decided to put in 2 foundations for different reasons. So this is the Covergirl Outlast Stay Fabulous 3-in-1 foundation in the shade 910. So many of you tell me this is your holy grail. I used it a few times. I did like a first impression video on it, which I liked it, but I didn't love it. And then I used it a few times after that. And to me, I can't really remember what I thought about it, which tells me that it didn't really impress me either way. But since so many of you have told me that it's a holy grail for you, especially with oily skin, I figured I would give it a nice long big shot in this project and figure it out. And then the other foundation is this one. This is the Hourglass Vanish stick. I know I like this, but the reason I'm putting this in my project is because I started using this kind of at the beginning of summer when things were getting a little bit oily, you know, a little bit difficult to work with. And even though I liked it, it did kind of break down a little bit and move around my face slightly by the end of the day. So I want to try this in the fall with the cooler weather, and I think that'll be a really good way to test it out and let you guys know what I think. I decided to put in 2 eyeshadow palettes. So the first one is a biatch to open. Every time I try to open this stupid thing, I break a nail, and I forgot about that when I put this in here. Okay, excuse the outburst. This is from BH Cosmetics. This is the Modern Mattes 28 color eyeshadow palette. Now I only recently bought this, but I haven't been using it because I've been using a lot of other really colorful palettes, and I kind of put this away for a while. If you kind of don't look at the top row and you just look at everything below that, it can be a very, very fall palette. So I figured it would be really good. I'll still try to play around a little bit up there, but I figured it would still be really good for fall, just for those bottom or top 3 rows. And I did a first impression video on this palette, but I haven't used it since that video. This is the NYX Ultimate Shadow Palette in Warm Neutrals. So you've got 4 times 4 is 16, right? You've got 16 eyeshadows in there. Nice mix of matte and shimmer. They're all very warm. People keep saying this is a dupe for the Naked Heat palette from Urban Decay. There's like Pinterest photos going around where they swatch next to each other, and I don't know if that's true. I don't own the Heat palette, but I do know that when I use this, I got a nice look out of it. And I don't think that this is the most revolutionary palette, like you're gonna get so many amazing different looks out of it, but I do think it's a good fall palette. And NYX is like very hit and miss for me with their eyeshadow formula. There's been some that I like, some that I don't, and there's so many different eyeshadows that you're like, okay, well, I just don't know with you, NYX. Like, I don't know what is what anymore. I mean, NYX is the brand that they just come out with products all the time, and it's really hard to keep up. So I figured I would just give this a really nice shot because I know these are permanent, and you know, if it's great, I can let you know. And I've got just a couple other things here. This is the Neutrogena Healthy Skin Blends Natural Radiance Bronzer. Again, only used this once, and I want to just continue testing it because I did kind of like it. I've got these 2 little mini powders. This is from the brand Stellar. These are both the exact same product. It's the Cosmic Face Powder in the shade Haze. Now both of these were gifts with purchase from Sephora. I don't know why I ended up with 2, but I did. And I've only used it a couple times. This is what it looks like. It's got kind of, you can tell, like kind of a little bit of a pink hue to it. I did buy the Becca what is it called? I can't remember. Their new powder they came out with that also has like a pinky purple hue, and I kind of like it for under the eyes. But I want to see if this is actually any good. Yeah, this one's still sealed. This is the only one I've opened. So maybe I'll love it and work my way through one or both of them. And then the very last product is this. This is from Essence. It's the Instant Matte Makeup Setting Spray with Evermatte, and it says oil free. I don't know what Evermatte is, but it's supposed to be a mattifying setting spray, and I did buy this a while ago and haven't used it at all, so I figured now is the time. I will completely test this out. You know what? It smells okay. It smells fresh. Nothing really like stands out in terms of scent, but it's fresh scent. And look at that. It's not a bad sprayer, right? It's like very light spray, which is nice. Some of the hard candy ones that I bought recently come out like a fire hose. I also wanted to mention, a lot of you sometimes ask me what makeup I'm wearing, and if you don't know, I always list it down below. I didn't used to, but you know, since I started getting questions, I figured I would start listing it for you guys. Not every product, but the big ones like foundation, eyeshadow, lips, cheeks. That's what I'll tell you I'm wearing. So if you're ever wondering, it's down there in the description bar. But I wanted to mention that because today I am wearing the Natasha Denona Lila palette on my eyes for the very first time. Let me know what you guys think about this look. I feel like it kind of got a little muddy over here. I don't know. I had to film, okay? I feel like I'm a little bit of a mess today, but that kind of works with this grungy look. I'll just have a little bit of a grungy, don't care attitude about it, and everything is on purpose. Everything you see here, the mess that I am, is on purpose today. So that's it for my Bought It Forgot It. Like I said before, I really encourage you guys to play along. It's always fun to hear from you down in the comments. If you've been doing this, let us know what you've been using and how it worked out and what you'll be using next month. It's just fun to read through the comments. I don't know about you, but I love doing that. And that is it for today. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you're speaking kindly to yourself and loving yourself. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.